गाइस वेलकम एंड आज हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं नायकाज आईपीओ और वो इतना न्यूज में क्यों है, व्हाई इज इट इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर अ स्टार्टअप लाइक नायका और एक आईपीओ होता क्या है और एक कॉमन मैन उससे कैसे बेनिफिट कर सकता है। तो बेसिकली वी आर ट्राइंग टू डिकोड दिस न्यूज फॉर यू। इतनी चर्चा में क्यों है नायका का आईपीओ। मेरे साथ है राजेश मेहता हु इज द फाउंडर ऑफ अगोरा मार्केटिंग एडवाइजरी and he has spent near about 30 years in various leadership positions, mainly in sales and marketing, with companies like Emami, Pidilite, Rasna Group, Western Union, and presently he's independent, and right now he's with me in this video. Welcome, Rajesh.
Hi, how are you, Preeti?
Very well, thank you. Good to e-meet you. हालांकि हम थोड़े टाइम पहले मिले थे in person, but good to e-meet you also.
Absolutely.
न्यूज़ सुनी आपने नायका की आईपीओ की?
हाँ जी, सुनी. I mean, it's been there for quite some time and finally got listed 2-3 days back. And yes, I mean, it's always good to see homegrown companies growing, getting listed, and getting so much love from very varied kind of investors.
Correct.
So yes, I mean it's a good news.
Okay. Rajesh, first of all, let's begin right. मतलब एबीसी से स्टार्ट करते हैं कि सबसे पहले तो आप हमारे व्यूअर्स को ये बता दीजिए कि आईपीओ होता क्या है.
Yeah, so very simply put, I mean IPO means initial public offering, right? What happens there is most of the time, let's say a lot of startups are there. They start with their own capital or their own money, right? And they grow a business to a certain level. And जो भी shares होते हैं company के, those are privately held. So either by the promoter or the early investors like angel investors or venture funds or people who put their private money, and shares are then allocated accordingly. Now, after a point when, let's say, a company reaches a certain scale, initially क्या होता है कि जब कंपनी छोटी होती है, नई होती है, तो उनको प्रूव करना पड़ता है कस्टमर्स को, मार्केट्स को, इन्वेस्टर्स को कि जो उनका कॉन्सेप्ट है वो अच्छा है, लॉन्ग टर्म उसकी वायबिलिटी है. Now, once, let's say, a MVP is attained, they have the proof that yes, this concept works, and they show revenue growth. Sometimes they also turn profitable, sometimes they don't, but they have a long-term horizon and long-term outlook कि ये company आगे जाके काफी अच्छा कर सकती है. Now, when they reach a stage of growth, what they do is they want to unlock the value that they've achieved till that point, and they want to then get the participation from the other investors like public, right? So IPO is nothing but a mechanism by which a privately owned company goes to public and share the privately held shares, and they share the ownership to the public.
Okay.
Right?
तो उसमें वो कंपनी पब्लिक क्यों जाना चाहती है? Why do they want to launch an IPO? उसकी क्या importance
that's what I said. So importance is that once they reach a certain scale, since it's a growing company, growing companies की funds requirement होती है, right? So accelerate करना होता है growth. So money तो चाहिए companies को. So अभी proof दे दिया कि company अच्छी है. So now you want more people joining your company, right? As a shareholder. So उस वजह से, और इसमें क्या होता है कि जो अर्ली स्टेज इन्वेस्टर्स होते हैं उन्होंने पैसा लगाया होता है, तो उन्होंने भी जो पैसा लगाया है वो एक्सपेक्टेशंस के साथ होता है कि कुछ इसके रिटर्न्स मिले. एंड these are the people who do not want FD kind of returns. They are looking for really multiples of 10-20x, those kind of numbers, right? So IPO is one way by which a company which is privately owned want to raise more money to fund their future expansion plans.
Okay.
It also works in a manner that it monetizes promoters' own shares because it's a publicly listed company. So they can also monetize their shares in case they wish to. It also gives an opportunity to the other investors, which are non-promoters, to exit the company in case there's a good valuation, right, of the company.
Okay.
So let's say an investor has invested 100 rupees in a company, and as the company has grown, the valuation of the company, the value of that 100 rupees has gone to, let's say, for example, 1,000 rupees, right? Which is, let's say, 10x. And when, let's say, your IPO comes and your shares get listed on a stock exchange,
right?
That is the time when an investor can take an exit. That is one way to kind of exit.
Okay.
And at listing time, 1,000 can also become 2,000, 3,000. Then again, it's in the hands of the retail investors or the other investors who participate in the IPO, right?
Nice. Okay.
And they exit. So maybe they get 2,000 rupees. So 100 rupees can also become 2,000 rupees, even though their value is 1,000 rupees.
Okay.
And then it's in the hands of the stock market, how most of the stocks are traded. And so these are some of the reasons. One more important reason here is that when you get listed, you get in the public domain, whereby your company is known by a lot of other people who maybe were not knowing about you. Public knows you at large. So they could be your customers also. And it also gets a favorable feedback from the community at large.
Prerequisite.
So that's also, yeah.
Prerequisite क्या है? एक IPO launch करने का एक company के लिए prerequisites क्या होते हैं?
Yeah, prerequisites, of course. I mean, you can get onto, let's say, a SEBI website and get the detailed thing. But at a broader level, there are what you call profit-related clauses and non-profit related clauses. So, company has to kind of ensure that, they meet certain number of years, certain turnover, certain profitability for 3 years, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
And then there are, of course, other non-profit, non-financial related, norms also. And these are all listed, I mean, anybody can go on to SEBI website and check what are the prerequisites for an IPO.
Okay. Yeah. So as soon as a company launches IPO, what changes happen in the company or about the company?
Yeah. So, I mean, broadly speaking, you go from a privately held company to a publicly listed
limited
company, right? So when you are private, you don't really need to share your financials with yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You don't need to. No worries. Yeah. So you don't need to share your financials with public at large and so on and so forth. But when you go public, you're mandated by law that you need to share your quarterly earnings and tell public how the shareholder, because now you are in the public domain. Now public is also part of your company. They are the shareholders. You need to tell them, what are the revenues, what is the profitability, and basis which people assess whether your company is making progress or not, and whether they should stay invested in the company or not, right? So that's a broader thing. Other thing is, of course, you get a much larger awareness from the public, and it's always good that
Okay.
there are more people participating in your journey.
Okay, how does the common man benefit from it? मतलब जब वो आईपीओ के लिए लिस्ट होती है कंपनी, वो पब्लिकली अपने शेयर्स जो हैं वो अवेलेबल कर देती है कंपनी, तो एक जब कॉमन मैन वो शेयर्स खरीद सकता है और उसको
So
क्या बेनिफिट होता है?
look, purely in the financial terms, there are two ways a shareholder, I'm talking about a shareholder, who can get benefited. One is in the short term, when, let's say, the stock gets listed on the stock market. That is when they can get, let's say, a listing benefit or listing kind of gains. Yeah. So let's say, for example, a share when a company launches their IPO at a price band, let's say the price decided for a share is 100 rupees, and on a listing day, let's say the company gets listed at 200 rupees, which means that I have invested, let's say, 100 rupees for that share. I've got the allotment, and when the stock gets listed on the stock exchange, it's priced at 200 rupees. So normally all this thing happens within 15 days to 1 month period, and so within that much time, my money is double, right? So that's a listing gain that as a investor I can get. A lot of people invest into IPOs to get that listing gain, right? And then after a point, they sell off. So within short time, you get almost 50% or twice your money. A lot of people apply for IPO for this listing gains.
तो उसमें रिस्क रहता है ना कि अगर वो लिस्ट नहीं करा उस प्राइस पे.
Yes, I'm coming to that. So you also run the risk that if, let's say, you've invested 100 rupees and the listing happens at 70 rupees, then you are at 30 rupees loss, right?
Right.
Which is where the second thing comes about, is some people do not invest into IPOs for short-term gain, but these are long-term investors, and they buy into the growth story of that particular company. That yes, this company has future. ये कंपनी आगे जाके काफी अच्छा करेगी, and जो 100 रुपए मैंने दिए हैं उसके maybe 10,000 भी हो सकते हैं. That's the kind of potential. So maybe I will park the money for 5 years or 10 years. There are serious investors like those also, and they are there for the long-term gain. They are not looking for short-term. So a lot of people who are, let's say, long-term investors may not also invest into IPO at when it gets listed, but they can pick up shares from the market at a later date when they feel the time is right and company has reached a point of growth, that yes, they are going to be able to sustain the continuous growth. So these are the key benefits of or not investing in an IPO.
Okay, so in Nykaa की जो journey है from a startup to IPO, have you observed that, Rajesh? How has it been in according to your understanding?
Yeah, I mean, look, Nykaa is a, I would say, is a very sweet spot at this point in time, because they started this journey. I mean, Falguni Nayar started this in 2012, right? I mean, people know of this story, so I will not spend a lot of time on that. But a single person, deciding that, yes, I want to get into this space, get into startup with a conviction that, yes, there is opportunity available in the beauty and cosmetic segment, right? Now, I have dealt with this category over last 20, 30 years, and I've been tracking the movement of various brands in this category. And I know for sure that, yes, this category, like a lot of other categories where you see a lot of startups identifying those niches and getting into it. Nykaa promoter Falguni Nayar identified that yes, this is the category in 2012, and like a lot of other companies, she chose the digital path. That yes, I will launch a digital website and an app, which is more of a aggregator for various cosmetic, personal care, and grooming brands.
Right.
It was more of a e-tailer.
Correct.
So they started listing a lot of well-known brands, unknown brands onto the platform, whereby customer had the option of, finding all the brands on one platform. It was kind of an aggregation. So customers saved a lot of time going to the retail outlets, identifying what new products are there, so on and so forth. So it became easier for various customers, women and girls and of all ages. It became very easy for them to find various brands, find various products. And it also then started evolving as a more of a confidant, someone who helps you identify what are your beauty and fashion needs and so on and so forth. And from that point, they also now ventured into men's grooming. They've also ventured into fashion products and so on and so forth. And now it's reached a stage where it's become omni-channel. So they are no longer only on website or app. They are also now present offline. I think they are on their way to open 100 Nykaa stores, physical stores, where people can go and sample their products, right? So that's the kind of path they've taken. And now they felt that now is the time to go to the public. And of course, tell public about the story and make them partner in the growth journey. Cosmetic and personal care product per se, the penetration of those categories is fairly less in India. So the growth path that the company can achieve is tremendous. The euphoria and the success of the IPO that you see is nothing but a testament of the belief that the founders had in the project, right? That yes, there is enough scope for this venture to succeed. And the kind of listing gains that it gave, almost 80% plus listing gain. The share was kind of at around 1,100 rupees and got listed at about 2,000 plus. And last couple of days also it's been growing. So there is a sustained interest in the buying. Of course, the euphoria is still there. I'm sure over a period of time it will consolidate. There will be some drops in the share price, like any other shares.
So why?
And it will then find a kind of level which is more sustained over a long-term period.
Okay, so why is IPO given so much importance in a startup's journey? मतलब कहते हैं ना कि startup ने कर लिया, उन्होंने IPO तक निकाल लिया अपना, मतलब काफी उसके बारे में चर्चा रहती है. It is in news most of the times, especially being a startup and then becoming public. Why do you think it is given so much of importance, Rajesh?
Yeah, see, what is happening, you got to look around. Not only globally, but in India also, a lot of people are recognizing the effort on the startup. Now, essentially what any startup does is identifying a gap in the market and then, try and structure the product or services. Not necessarily, it has to be new or unique. Sometimes you have a new product which is based on existing business ideas also. There are a lot of startups like that also. But what it does is it kind of helps entrepreneurs. You are not kind of working for someone, but if you have that zeal in you that, no, I want to do something on my own. Initially, a couple of decades back, people could not start their own business because they didn't know, because they did not have capital, right? पैसे कहाँ से लाएंगे धंधा करने के लिए, right?
Right.
Now here you have this entire ecosystem which is developing, that if you have a good idea, the whole idea of startup is that if you have a good idea, and if you can demonstrate by minimum viable product to various investors in the ecosystem, then they will back you in your early growth phase, right? While you're building your business, while you're proving yourself, they'll fund you. And once you've reached a stage that, yes, now I've reached a stage where my business can continue on an ongoing basis, I've proven myself, then I can go to the market and list my company on stock market.
I see.
Whereby I can get more participation from other investors also, and a way to kind of give an option to the investors, to early investors, to reduce their stake if they wish to.
Okay.
Once they've made their investment
So
profitable.
how has Falguni Nayar now become a billionaire after this IPO? जो सबसे ज़्यादा बोला, she's the first self-made woman billionaire from India. So that is the headline all across. How
so this is, as I said, when this listing happened, right? I mean, the valuation of the company is reached something like $13.5 billion, or in excess of 100,000 crore rupees, 1 lakh crores of rupees. Number of shares multiplied by the stock price. That's how you get your valuation, right? So suddenly, because of the value unlocking, the value of the business or the market capitalization has reached 1 lakh crore. And since Falguni Nayar holds close to about half the company,
okay.
That's how her kind of net worth have become something like $6.5 billion, or so on and so forth. And she's not alone. Her husband, her children, they also own a stake in the company. So collectively, they own a sizable chunk into the business.
But is that real money? Is that real money?
No, it's a valuation.
It's a valuation, right?
It's a valuation of
that's
the
not
stock,
the kind of money, right? That's in her bank account. That's on basis of valuation, everybody is calling her a billionaire.
Yeah, because her values are worth that much. The stocks are worth that much. So if she, let's say today, decides, of course, I mean, I'm sure she's not going to sell off her stake, but if she does decide that, no, I want to exit this business and I want to, let's say, give my shares away I want to sell this off, she'll get this kind of money at current market price.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, you will keep listening to, let's say, globally, Elon Musk has so much net worth, or Bill Gates has so much net worth, or so on and so forth,
I understand.
And their wealth, net worth keeps on growing and coming down, depending on how well their stock market price goes up and down, right? But I mean, as I said, I mean, from 2012 to now, in 9 years, this is the kind of value she has unlocked for herself, as well as for the investors who've kind of participated in the journey.
I get that. So can a common man be a part of Nykaa's good run and benefit from it? मतलब वो लोग shares खरीद सकते हैं, अभी presently available हैं. What is the procedure?
Yeah. I mean, look, as I said, there are a lot of people who kind of invested into the IPO, which Nykaa came up with. I think the issue got subscribed, I think, more than 80 times, right? So whatever that's the kind of enthusiasm that people had, right? And when the stock got listed at almost 80% premium, people who had invested and people who got the allotment of the stocks immediately got that much value unlocking. That's the kind of benefit that they got, right? And people who sold it immediately, let's say, would tend to get that 80-90% gain. But people who are going to kind of continue with it will have to wait in terms of how their shares do in the market. Now, since it's traded on the stock exchange, you can also buy those shares. I can also buy those shares at the prevailing stock price at that point in time, whenever you decide to buy. And if I think apparently tomorrow is the day when they announce their quarterly result, I think on 14th. So tomorrow would be a good day to see for public. Since they've gone public, they will have to announce it to the public what has been the numbers. Luckily for Nykaa, I think Nykaa is one of those rare startups which is profitable. I think last year they turned profitable on a turnover of 2,400 plus crores. I think they delivered a profit of something like 60 crores plus.
I see.
Right. So it's very, very pleasant to see a kind of a startup delivering profits.
Okay.
Even before they kind of listed themselves.
Okay. So like you mentioned about startups, I am intrigued ki Paytm, Droom, I mean, Paytm has already done it, I think now, and Droom is also preparing to go public. What does it speak about the industry, Rajesh? What do you think? I mean, is it like, are they doing so well that they are, going public now, and one after the other? It's almost like a race and a party out there.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a phenomenon you will see in the stock market. When there's a bull run, everyone wants to benefit from it, right? And suddenly there's so much euphoria in the stock market. I mean, if you see, there are bumper numbers of new demat accounts getting opened. So people like you and me, a lot of people from who've never invested in stock market wants to now invest into stock market. So they've opened their demat account, and there's so much money available, and that's what one has kind of spurring this bull run, as so-called bull run. And when there's the bull run, there's so much money available. A lot of companies think that this is the right time to go to public and get a pie of that money available in the market, right? Which is why you are seeing a lot of these big IPOs coming now. So timing is because of this, right? That yes, I mean, now is the right time because there's a euphoria. A lot of public they're enamored by the IPO listing gains, and I mean, people want to kind of encash on this, and which is why.
Are you doing it? Are you doing it, Rajesh? Are you encashing on the opportunities?
No, unfortunately, I'm not the one chasing IPOs because I'm more of a serious investor, and I'm not saying that IPO is bad or whatever, but I would like to see the performance of the company where I'm investing, and I'm not what you call there for a short period. I mean, I'm a long-term investor. So I normally look at the fundamentals of the company and then kind of want to invest into those companies.
Sure. Well, thank you, Rajesh. And all the best. And good to know that you are a serious investor and you are actually a long-term player. And thank you so much for all that information that you shared with us. और आज I think काफी लोगों को ये समझ में आया कि IPO क्या है, Nykaa ने जो IPO निकाला है उसका क्या मतलब है, and what does it mean? How has Falguni Nayar now become a billionaire, so to say, that it's all over the headlines. So thank you for decoding for us, Rajesh, and do join in again whenever I call you up and say that, hey, let's do this again. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. And if you like these kind of videos and if you like my channel, please subscribe and share these videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.